Okay, now if you flipped your agenda over, this is the agenda for the board meeting.
Yes, there it is.
Oh.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order at 4:37. We have Rob, Mark, Arnie here. Danny's not. We have one vacancy. Proof of notice was met. We do have a quorum. First order of business on here is the, well, I'm gonna add one here. Are you actually submitting your name to fill the seat on the board of directors? Do you want to do it? I mean, will you? You guys,
Time's up. Dum, 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 dum.
You don't have to
Dum,
today.
dum,
They can talk
you
about
don't-
it.
You don't have to stay. You don't have to.
At this point.
All right, I would nominate Rob to be reappointed as president.
You accept, Rob?
Does anybody else want to be president?
I think you're doing a great job, Rob.
Rob is the best.
Okay,
Thanks, Arnie.
who wants to be vice president?
It can't be both.
I know.
Don't-
I nominate Danny.
Okay, since he's not here, that's the best thing.
Yep.
Okay, do we combine secretary and treasurer?
No.
Okay.
No.
Treasurer, I nominate Arnie.
Are
Are you call for the next year? Do you want to be Arnie or Arnold?
Either way.
All right.
Do you accept treasurer?
Yeah, I'll stay with that. That's fine.
Okay, and you're willing to remain secretary, so.
Mark, the best secretary ever.
Can I get a motion to accept the slate of officers as presented?
I will make the motion.
Thank you, Rob. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Arnie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, condolences. So we have our officers. We're noting that we have a vacancy. Please consider, if you're interested, let them know. And then at the next board meeting next month, we can appoint you. Moving on to old business here. We've already kind of talked about South Building.
Well, no, that's now we need to authorize that check.
So do we have a motion to authorize the check? We can do the discussion after the.
I'll make a motion to authorize the check to pay the balance. 10%
Okay, there's a
balance.
motion. Do I have a second?
I will second it.
Discussion.
Arnie, any discussion on the paying the bill?
This for the repitch?
Repitch, yeah.
Oh, no, let's pay it. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Punch list. I know Rob wants to talk about sliding doors for WSB.
So, I mean, I have some little punch list items within my own unit, other than that. But as far as the big scope of things, the sliding glass doors still worry me a little bit. Mine are still not sliding the way they're supposed to be sliding.
Mine don't lock.
Won't lock. So, I mean, there are still some adjustments. They did tell me there were still 5 doors that they have not completed because they didn't have enough parts. They, just to refresh everybody's memory, when the doors were put in, there was boxes of parts that were put aside. A lot of people that were living in their unit and or using their unit threw the boxes out. And when they went to use the parts to finish the door completion, the boxes were gone and the parts were gone. So they ordered replacement parts, but they only got half their order. So there's still 5 doors, I believe, that still need to be completed, along with, apparently mine's completed, but it needs some adjustments. So
I'm not
that's,
sure where my unit even stands. I haven't been in there since we rented it. I was gone in the summer.
so we are running out of time really with the punch list items, so everybody should kind of make up. I mean, they've asked us several times to produce final punch lists. My own unit, I still have the whole kitchen to do, so you know, I'm not worried about them not coming back for my unit for my little things. But the doors are, you know, I'm thinking of the whole complex, and as far as I know, that's the only thing they need to
The
fix.
doors were put in after we left for the summer.
You said your tenant is vacating the end of this month?
End of this month.
Well, as soon as they're gone, I would say get in there and make sure everything is.
Yeah, I wanna get it, we're gonna sell it, so I wanna get it up to
Understand.
snuff.
Okay. Moving on, Punta Gorda city permits for WSV. I mean, this is probably a good time to talk about the retention and how much we want to pay them. Invoice.
You know, WSD pretty much keeps saying, oh, don't worry about the permits, don't worry about the permits. That's for them to worry about and whatnot, and, yeah, it is, in my opinion, for them to worry about.
We're
It's
not
in
gonna
their
finally pay
contract.
them until they finish the permits. The permits are inspected, that we
She
don't.
wanted, and requested that we pay her the complete balance and hold back basically 1,000 per unit. Which is not what we agreed to. We agreed to 10% on the contract, and I contend we hold back 10% on the contract until, all the concerns are met. With that said, we're holding 20% currently, on that contract, which is a total of 66,000 we're holding, where 10% would be 33. I could see my way clear to approve the other 10%, but I don't want to give them any more than that. So,
I personally, I have not. It's all glossing over on me at this point of how many contracts and permits are out there and are
well,
outstanding.
apparently there's one permit. They made them put everything under one permit. Because they didn't want to have multiple permits on everything.
Okay, who didn't want to? The city of PG?
As from what I'm understanding, the city of PG didn't want a separate permit for each individual project. And they needed to combine them into one. From what I understand, that's what they've done. They've combined them into one. We no longer have the stop work order on us, so they're working under some kind of a permit.
Okay,
The windows, the upstairs windows, the city is asking to add on to the existing permit and not go for another permit.
okay.
I would say that's gonna be problematical if we're looking to close a permit. If we're holding back 10% and we're increasing the deal, then that's problematical on.
So then
see what I'm saying
the
is-
option would be to hold off on the windows, tell them, nope, close off we're canceling the project until.
I don't necessarily say the permit has to close, but final inspections on all existing work. We need to see evidence of all final inspections and that they've passed, right? If they want to extend the permit to do more work, that's fine.
Excuse me.
Hey,
Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I cannot hear what you're saying. And we're talking about the windows that are supposed to get done.
This is a board meeting. You're welcome to join and listen, and we'll turn up the volume, but it's not for your discussion.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, there are two ways to skin that cat, which are close this file a new permit on new windows. It's a new project. It has nothing to do with the hurricane stuff. Permits, when the permit's closed and all inspections are finalized and we have evidence of all of that, we write the last 10%. If we're talking about giving them 10 now and holding back the remaining 10, clean that up, get it done. The flip side of that is, well, okay, is all of the current work have final inspections been passed? See what I'm saying? Then we could pay.
Well, none of it has a final inspection.
That's what
That's
I'm
right.
saying.
And we're not even sure if we're getting a final inspection, because WSV claims that they self-inspect and they have this engineer's report signing off on everything. I don't know if the city's gonna.
That is an alternate way. If they've got a signed, sealed engineer's report post whatever, meaning the date of the report is after they've done all the work and the city has accepted it. If they're gonna submit that to the city and the city gives them a written acceptance of the
So
engineer's report.
what you're basically saying is I gotta put pressure on Misty to close out, no, don't add them on to this permit. Close out the hurricane repair permits.
I would prefer that, but I'm not gonna stand.
I mean, I would too if she wants money.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to hold it up more.
Well, I feel the same way. I think we should close out the hurricane permit and then work on the windows because this is going to drag on. That professional engineer he's not going to sign off on these windows in addition to the other stuff because
That's true.
he's bonded. He's going to be tied to this.
I would think the same thing, that he's already done his inspection, he's already wrote his report.
Their
So
money.
now we're adding more stuff, so.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I mean, yeah, if that job is complete and they're telling that, we don't want to extend the permit, pull a new permit and be done with it.
Whether the city likes it or not.
Yeah, well,
Otherwise,
yeah,
close this one out.
Close that one and then file a permit.
I'm all right with
I
that.
don't know, I mean,
So in negotiations, do either of you have any problem with releasing the other 10%? And
No, I
hold,
think it's fine. Yeah, I think we should release, the first 10%, and we'll maintain the last 10.
I'm not gonna release the last 10 until they fulfill their contract,
Right.
which is providing us with closed permits.
My bigger concern is when I looked at that engineering report, it doesn't look like the engineer actually showed up and inspected anything. It looks like he just cut and pasted that together from whatever they provided him.
But then what are our concerns with that? I mean, if we do get signed off on it, I mean,
it's on his O&E at that point. If there's deficiencies,
he's a
he signed off
PE,
on
so
it.
I mean, he's supposed to have more scruples.
He should be bonded and insured, which means he's liable if something's wrong. He can be sued individually.
We can sue the engineer. What that means is if that closes and we find a deficiency that he signed off on, his firm is now liable.
Yeah, he's liable. That's the
Right.
downside of being a PE.
All right, well, I will talk to Misty and tell
How do you want
her.
to handle that 10%? Do you want to do a motion now to pay that, or do you want to just send us directly?
I'd like to have so I don't want to be obligated to pay it. I want to negotiate with her.
Okay.
I want to
Well, I
talk
mean,
to her
that's
and
something
make
that's part
sure.
of the contract, but I
I'd
do not.
like
need
to
a-
have the approval.
Well, we can still go ahead and approve it. Whether you actually tell Palmer to cut the check is a different issue.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the contingent release of let me word that differently. The contingent release of all monies due to WSV except a 10% of the contracted amount, subject to Rob's further investigation.
I'll support that motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, so we got Ernie
And we all vote.
and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's 10%. Okay. We've already talked about the roof repair update. I think we've already.
No, this is the new one, North Building.
Okay, let's talk about that. North building.
Unfortunately, Danny is our roof liaison, and he's not participating in the meeting today. But what I will say is Galloway spent the whole day up on the north roof. 2 days ago. And apparently fixed all of the concerns that they had with the roof. Although I have not had any kind of final report.
And for what it's worth, we got from Galloway a photographic list of all the things that needed to be fixed with the quote. Do you recall what that quote was? The $2,200, and I looked at all of them, the places where the roof had started to lift up a little bit on the seams, and to my mind, that was $2,200 well spent.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate that we have to spend it on a fairly new roof, but
Yes.
it is good that it's done before it leaks. So yeah, that was inspected and repaired, and we're just kind of waiting on the final report, I guess.
Okay.
All right, that was North Building, and then what do we have here?
Talking about the bylaws and dogs.
So
Apparently I don't know where I was last month, but
yeah, so last month there was conversation brought up about limiting sizes of dogs and or breeds of dogs.
okay.
You know,
That's a document amendment, obviously.
I guess so. I don't really know.
Okay, you want me to talk
Where it is in
process?
our rules. So, I mean, my personal concern is I have a larger, very sweet dog. I don't wanna keep very
You can
sweet.
be as specific as you want to. You can say owners are allowed whatever the hell they want, and
Mhm.
renters are prohibited dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but what that requires is you're going to have, the process is you come up with what you actually want. We go to Ernie, Ernie draws up the language that will meet challenge in court if it's ever challenged, basically, or if it won't, it's on him instead of on us. Then he gives that amendment, it's a line item amendment to your declaration of condominium, where we'd be adding language to the declaration of condominium that is specific, it's a covenant that applies to all owners. Then once I have that, we set a meeting date, I mail out a proxy vote, and I have to get 66.6% of you to vote in favor of the new document. And as soon as that happens, it gets recorded and you have a new rule. That's because if it's not in your documents, it would, I mean, yes, you could promulgate a rule to that effect, but the enforceability of promulgated rules that restrict the usage of those units is problematic. So if you want to actually have something enforceable, the other side is if you're doing a line item amendment for your documents, you're going to want to fix some of the other stuff that we've got problems with. If we're going to a vote, because I'm going to mail a proxy, I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would be really nice to be able to have a little bit more teeth in your documents, that basically say, okay, we're going to fix the dog thing. Maybe there's some other stuff that we should be fixing as well. Maybe there's I like language that allows you to transfer or implied negligence, where we have a water heater that goes and it damages the unit and the drywall all goes. If it's not specific that a 7-year-old water heater that has burst is negligent, then the association could be paying for that. Meaning not paying for the water heater, but paying for the common area stuff that's damaged by the negligence of a unit owner. But you have to specifically say water heaters and air conditioning line, drainage lines need to be cleaned every year. And if one leaks and destroys property, well, if you can't prove with a invoice that you had that thing cleaned within 12 months, guess what? All of those damages, including the common area damages, are your responsibility to repair because it is now negligent on the part of the unit owner. Those are pretty good ones. There may be other things, because I'm coming to this a little cold, on problems that we've had that maybe you want something about the laundry room, or you want to do something about parking, or you want to prohibit advertisements on, we've had that in the past. I don't think we have it currently, where you had commercial vehicles parked out there. You want to prohibit a commercial vehicle. There may be some other things that you want to do to this. What I would say is, instead of doing them one at a time and have the attorney do them all, because there's economies of scale there. And then one mailing, because there's economies of scale there as well, where we're mailing out one proxy that has 5 amendments to it. And the other side of that is it's A, B, C, D, and E, and they vote on A and B and C and D. And so one could pass, one could fail, but that doesn't abrogate the whole process. So you fix the dog thing, but we didn't get enough votes to do the laundry thing or the whatever, the other thing.
The wood trip.
We did once, we had a vet certification of a dog, if it's a pit bull, you know what I mean, that you would have to have a vet sign off that said this dog is domesticated or whatever. Kind of what I got that.
I mean, you all always know that you generally don't get to this process until you have a problem.
Yeah.
Meaning, and most of the time, it's a tenant with an uncontrolled dog. It usually isn't an
Supposed to
owner,
be proactive.
I am being proactive, and I'll tell you why. We are going rental.
And the renters are the ones that bring the dogs.
That's another
Other
great
places
one for.
don't allow
That's
dogs, so
really
they
good.
come to us because we do, and that's.
Another great one that a lot of my associations have done is to slow the process of going rental. Is you put a prohibition that says new owners can't rent for a period of a year or 18 months or 2 years or 3 years or whatever it is. You're selling your unit, you're taking away 50% of the. So these folks probably wouldn't vote for that today because they want to sell their unit. And I'm not using you as a derogatory or anything like that. I'm just pointing out what some of the stuff is. But it also makes it difficult for investor owners to come in and immediately put a trash tenant in next door to somebody who's gonna ignore all the rules and do whatever they want.
Mhm.
It makes it so when you're going to market, it's more likely that a full-time resident or a seasonal resident who's not planning to rent it is going to buy that because that's not a negative. Where you're making it more difficult for a investor owner to buy it because they've got to buy it and sit on it, meaning no cash flow for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months before they can put the first tenant in there. And so you can kind of adjust your marketability strategy to kind of push it back towards an owner occupied type of deal as opposed to a rental property. The difficulty with that is people who are selling their unit are most likely going to vote no to that because you're taking away 50% of the market. Because a rental person, if you were selling to somebody who's planning on renting the unit, and the way you word this is because all of you have all owned it for longer than a year, you have no downside unless you're planning to sell it. Using it, like I said,
Yeah.
using it as an example to make a point, not to
Yeah, right.
say anything bad. But you have to know how many people are gonna sell this, because there's 15 of you. We need 66%, which I think is 8 or 9 in favor. And
Yeah, but when people rent their places, it's common sense. You don't put a couple in with a dog that's big.
well,
But they do, they have.
well, I mean, that's why we're talking about this. The other
We
side
had
of
two
that is
huge dogs at the end.
one of the
unit.
big things that you guys want to
55.
have
Yeah,
is
there's a dog in my unit, but
Mhm.
it's an old dog and.
Well, yeah, we know her, but
Yeah.
you know, we have a dog too. We always have. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna.
And I had an
Been here
Irish
20
Wolfhound.
years.
My dog was 160 pounds. He was a sweetheart. I love big
I
dogs.
just want them to pick up the dog shit.
before I
Yes.
forget,
That's the
here's
problem.
the other thing that is really important that a lot of folks like to add to their element is approval criterion and declination criterion
For
for
rentals.
renters and owners. Meaning, right now, anybody who puts down their money can move in. There's no approval for a new owner, and so a child molester could move in next door to you because you have no ability to decline.
We actually
We had
do
that
have
one
that,
weirdo,
but we've
but-
neglected it.
Well,
We've
What Ernie has told me over the
turn anything down.
yeah,
because
I
we
mean,
can't
you do
afford to
not
change
necessarily,
our life.
if your declaration does not have specifics on acceptable declination reasoning, you cannot decline them because you're violating fair housing. Your condominium documents, specifically your declaration of condominium, have to say, okay, you have been convicted of a crime within the last 12, or not 12 months, but 10 years of, any felony. And it's longer at any period, you're convicted of a crime against the elderly or whatever it is. You're a registered sex offender. You have to have those delineated within your document so that at that point, I can pull a credit bureau now, but sharing it with you when you have no ability, there's a conflict there and it violates fair credit. But if you have the ability to decline based on certain criterion that would show up in a background check, then we can do those type of things. That's another line item. You add the ability to approve and decline and what those criterion are for declination for either tenants and owners.
One thing we did was $100 pet fee, maybe to the association. If you're gonna be a renter and you have a pet, I don't know if you charge anything now. And the other thing you could do is the $50, we do this in one of our apartment buildings, we do a $50 DNA test. And if we find your dog poop and we send it in, it's a $500 fine. But
I like that.
we've never had to send it in because people know that
You got the
their dog
DNA.
poop's there, right? So,
Yeah, I
We
mean,
never
all of
had to
that
do
stuff
it,
is
but
possible.
the rule is that, it's
Yeah.
stuff you can add.
But what I'm saying is, you guys should be thinking about this and come up with a list, because I will tell you right now, all the things I've just talked to you about, Ernie's already written all this stuff, and I've got it incorporated in other documents. So it's not like it's gonna cost you thousands of dollars to do that, because all he's gonna do is cut and paste all of these declaration amendments into a Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C for the proxy vote. But before I go tell Ernie to do this, you guys need to talk amongst yourselves and come up with a list of what you want.
Hey, David, can you send us a copy of another associations, how they have that set up so we can review that and get an idea?
Let me think about that, Arnie.
Yeah, we don't even know what we don't know right now.
I mean, I can send, I will try, I'm gonna make a note. We may be able to black out somebody else's declaration. Because Ernie doesn't necessarily, most of the time, what I've done with him recently is a substantial rewording of the entire document list, which basically is you take your articles, your bylaws, and your declaration and throw them in the trash, and he rewrites all of them. And he has a big old document, and then the process, but that's a $7,000 to $10,000 cost. You don't, because you're starting over, but it fixes everything. And it gets rid of all the developer language. It gets rid of any other stuff that is not concurrent with current statute, meaning you may have things in your documents that are completely unenforceable because Florida law says you can't. Because of the age, legislature writes new laws and your document doesn't age as
Restrict people by race, that kind
Yeah,
of.
I mean-
Should be in there. Honestly, our documents are such bad copies. There are pages that are unreadable.
Well, I mean, it's a public document, so I mean, you can pull good copies straight from the
No,
county.
I'm telling you,
The
I
one in the
have
county?
the one that the county has, and
It's
it's
garbage.
that bad.
Yeah, so bad Adobe can't even read it to, you have Adobe Pro, you can take that, convert it to Word, and it misses half of it.
Yep.
Well, anyway, we've kind of talked a lot about this. The ball's in the. I mean, we can do whatever you guys want to do. You just kind of have to give us a little direction on what you're trying to do, and then I can work
I'll
through
support
it.
whatever you want to do, but that's not something I'm pursuing. It's way over my head.
I mean, what I would suggest, Mark, is to come up with a list and talk about it at the next meeting. And this is what we'd like to pursue.
That's why I
Are we ready
started
to
out,
spend
that's
some
why I
money on the
started
attorney?
out with the dogs. Yep.
Yeah. But from my perspective, doing one at a time is not economical.
All
Because
right.
there's a number of things in your documents that are problematical that we've had discussions in these type of meetings previously. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see, moving on, new business. Do we have any old business that we've missed before we go to new business?
No,
All right, the under unit 50 floor leak.
we talked about it. Done.
Done.
Taken care of. Done.
Is there any
Well-
repair that has to be done did they break the concrete anywhere to find the leak or?
No, it was just it was at the concrete.
Oh,
They
that's-
shot the nail in.
Lovely, that's the best news.
So you'd
is.
recommend getting a proper plumber in there to fix it though?
Mhm. Yes,
And that's WSV, because they did it,
So, I mean,
yeah, WSV put the nail in there, I mean.
so they're plumbers.
I'll take that up with
Add it to your-
Misty and see if
I mean,
they're
have
gonna
them
do
say, hey, do you want us to repair it?
And
And not bill you, but we'll just
deduct it.
withhold it from the money that we're sitting on.
Yeah, I mean, they shot a nail into it. It's their negligence.
And if there's I would make sure that the leak detection has the detail that this is what the problem is.
Absolutely, 100%.
They send it,
Picture video.
apparently they are sending it all to you.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Marion's usually on top of
Yeah.
it, so, okay. We're at the bottom of the agenda. Do we have any other business to come before the board?
No.
Any spectators want to ask any questions of the board?
I
I
can
just wanted,
barely hear you, so no.
Okay.
I did want to know how, since the roof was pitched, how it's holding up in heavy rain, but of course, this
It's a
is
drought.
We haven't had any.
We
this
had
is the time for heavy rain, I know.
That's the rule. You put on a new roof and it quits raining in Florida.
Everybody that's in the building says that it runs to the back, nothing comes off the front, and that it's,
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
Okay.
something was done right, hopefully.
Good.
I'll send you photos of the back area.
Thank you. I hear Rob's been
I'll make the
busy.
motion to adjourn.
Support.
So we
Well,
got.
I also would like to thank Rob for doing everything he's done. Not just in my back area, but throughout the compound. So thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does a good job.
All those in favor?
Everybody welcome.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned 5:06.
Hey, the next meeting, we didn't set the next meeting.
Oh, I think you have it set up on the same day every month.
Yeah, the first Friday.
We
It's
do
the first
usually do
Friday
the
of
first
every month,
Friday,
so
but
whatever
what
that
is- what
is.
is today?
We
Today's
can
already
change
the second or third? So,
About
Today, next month's meeting would be January 6th is when it's on my calendar. Well, it's not on my calendar yet. February.
February 6th.
Ah, so this meeting must have ended. I got to go back to this meeting.
a different day.
Year, yeah.
It may have just been set to. It was today. I want to make sure that the series didn't end. And
Do we want to go back to the first Friday, or do you want to do it in a month and go to the second Friday?
oh, this wasn't that's right, because this one was set because it's the annual meeting. So let's see if February is set for, yep, nope, it's not on that day. It's not on the second Friday or the first Friday. So you guys decide.
I'm happy with the first Friday. I think we're gonna have 2 or 3 more of these meetings and then we're gonna go to quarterly or bi-monthly.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I think you're right, Mark.
I'm gonna set this
for
up.
now, we're gonna say 4 o'clock Friday the 6th.